Okay. I look so weird right now. Why do I think I look so different? I feel like I look really weird. It's like I'm just realising what I actually look like. You know what, I am going to do this video with glasses on. I don't like it. Anyway, so I feel like I've had a lot of things going around in my head recently, and I feel like I'm thinking too much, so it's stopping me from making content. I don't know, it's class as content, but like stopping me from like stopping and thinking about some ideas and actually like doing them. So I feel like I'm just going to talk it out. Like a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about, I've actually found it annoying when people talk about it on their channels, but I feel like maybe they've come to the same point as I have in their minds in terms of like, I just need to say it and talk about it so I've got past it, so I can like stop thinking about it. It's weird. So once you talk about something with someone, then like you're not really thinking about it as much anymore. Or like when you say something you've been thinking about for a while and you realise how stupid it sounds when you say it out loud. But maybe I'll just like talk out a few things, and it kind of feels like maybe it'd be like podcast type thing, but I'm not sure because like this isn't actually a podcast. But I feel like the stuff I'm going to talk about was as if I'm doing a podcast type thing. I don't know. So I'm literally just going to talk about the first thing that's coming to mind, which is I've been watching some YouTube videos and it's from a while back, like a year and a half ago. Can't remember how long the Harambe thing happened, and it's kind of, so what I'm thinking in relation to it is like how it kind of like became a meme and then became like meaningless, and it was just, so how I'm thinking about it is like, in truth it's this really kind of serious matter that you should think and talk about, and yeah, after a while you could make fun of anything. But Harambe became a joke, like, straight away. Like the dicks out for Harambe thing. So, this YouTube video was recently. It was the Fine Brothers video of YouTubers react to Harambe, I think. But anyway, it was saddening to see how, like, most people's reactions were like, they don't really know where the meme came from and things. And I feel like I'm fighting, like, both sides of the argument here. Where it's like, Harambe was kind of turned into a meme too quickly. But then also, like, because it's a meme, it stayed around for longer. Like, it stayed in people's minds for a lot longer. And so yeah, the, like, dicks out for Harambe thing. I feel like the way that I would understand that kind of joke is the fact that, you know, there's like Pray for Paris and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm going like that. It was Pray for Paris, like hashtag Pray for Paris when there was like the Paris bombings or something, or not bombings, whatever the violence was that happened in Paris. And I feel like it would be like thoughts for Harambe or something, or like pray for Harambe, that type of thing. And then as a joke, it's kind of like dicks out for Harambe. It's people making kind of like a counter joke, because it's like where someone's making a joke of it before, like the idiots can be like dicks out for Harambe. So I feel like, I don't know, let me try and think about it. So yeah, I feel like it could have been created like two ways. It could have been like mocking or like playing on the words because dicks are funny, supposedly, and kind of been like how everyone was like Pray for Paris, that type of thing. So it's like Pray for Harambe, but then it's like dicks out for Harambe. It's like that type of thing where it's just kind of like a different form of affection for Harambe. I feel like, you know, sometimes you have something in your mind and you just can't put it into words. A lot of people my age probably don't, but I do. Probably don't know what I'm talking about. That was the end of the sentence. I also don't finish my sentences. But then the other side of it is kind of like mocking people who are like on the side of Harambe, kind of being like, yeah, well, I don't know, when people like protesting about it after he'd like been killed and stuff, there'd be people mocking those people, which if the meme came from that place where it's like they shouldn't have killed Harambe, which in my opinion, no, they shouldn't have. No, that is not my opinion, sorry. It's difficult to judge the situation, but anyway, I'll finish that bit where it's like, that's where the meme came from. About what should have happened, it's really kind of difficult because there are 2 points to this argument. It's like the philosophical version and the, what are you going to do at that point in time? Like, in the moment, so basically how I'm thinking of it is, it branches off into loads of different things, but it's like, if the person, the guard or whatever that shot Harambe or something, if they had had the choice between tranquilizer and a gun, and they chose the gun over the tranquilizer, then like obviously you should choose a tranquilizer over the gun, because you can't just kill something because you don't really like the situation. But like, people were panicking at the time, as you would. So if the gun was the closest thing that they could come to like stopping the gorilla, I can understand why that option was chosen. Because if you think about it, you're like, oh, Harambe was only interacting with a child how he probably would their own children. But then again, at certain points of it feel like maybe it's mocking humanity. Like, I've watched parts of the video, probably should have watched the whole video, but then again, you're like, it's not their own children, it's not their own species. A human child, and how old the child was, but the fact that it dropped into the enclosure anyway, like how steep was the drop? That baby's probably pretty out of it anyway. But it's not going to be able to survive the same as their own children would. So there's that point. And there's the thing of like how it might not have known that it was alive, because I don't know how much contact this gorilla's come into with other living things, actually being able to interact with them. But then again, yeah, it might not have known it was alive, but then it was still probably going to kill it. And you can't just be like, oh, well, it's got it now, that's over. One thing that I kind of want to point out with it is that, say Harambe had been tranquilized and they got the baby, and like the baby must have had some injuries, like I don't know, maybe it didn't, but I feel like it must have got something. That wouldn't be the end of it. They'd be like, oh, the gorilla's violent, when, you know what, a lot of the animals in zoos are probably violent. You don't just hang out with them. But humans wouldn't let it go. That would not be the end of it. Like, you know, when a dog bites someone will be like, oh, this dog's got to be put down. Like, not really looking at the situation properly. So, like, the mother and father of that child would be like, it's dangerous, it needs to be put down. People would not let it go. And I feel like it would be taken to court and they'd be, like, judging on how, like, damaged the baby was. And I feel like it would result in the death of the baby anyway. Because say there's a lion in the wild and a human goes and gets killed by this lion, humanity wouldn't just be like, yeah, that lion is allowed to live. People will come together and be like, that animal's got to die, it killed that human, even though the animal's naturally violent, or like naturally has like the instincts to, yeah, not let the human type beings live. And so then a group of people went to kill this lion, and then the lion killed the people, or the lion's friends, like the pack or whatever, helped to kill these people. Those lions wouldn't be let to live and roam in the wild. We're like a virus. We're like, nah mate, you can't just kill us when we've been the stupid ones. Like, you're gonna die. And so what I was trying to say was just, humans will never let it go, which controversially could mean Harambe might not even be dead, because the zoo could have been like, one, we might get sued unless we kill the Harambe, and two, like, unless we kill the animal, the zoo wouldn't stop receiving like negative press and stuff, and people just wouldn't stop trying to like bash them until Harambe was dead. So potentially like their solution might have just been to say that it was dead, because I don't know if there's a video of it, but I feel like it would be more widely spread that there was a video of Harambe actually being shot. On the flip side of that though, they might have been like, don't film it being killed out of respect for the gorilla, which is fair enough, to be honest, because common decency. What I feel like I was meaning to say about it in terms of like humans keep going at things and keep kind of like knocking things down until they get their own way. I feel like I'm not even wording this right. And for me there's four things that happen. Either Harambe wasn't actually killed, Harambe was killed to get the child off Harambe. 3, they killed it so that the zoo didn't have any like, ongoing negative repercussions. So I imagine there was some directly from that event. And then the 4th thing was they just pretended that it was killed so that they wouldn't have any negative repercussions. Okay, so I've written it down because I feel like I can write it down a lot better than talk. Sometimes I feel like I want to talk it through so that it gets more of a personal feel to it. So from what I was trying to say, if there was a lion that killed someone, people wouldn't just then be like, oh, well, that person shouldn't have been there, and then leave the lion alone. People would get aggressively defensive about things. Like, people aren't just like, oh, well, we should really like put some kind of sign saying for people not to go there, even though there probably was. And in zoos and stuff, I'm pretty sure there's signs. So yeah, they get aggressively offended as if like the lion has personally offended them. You know how people are like really angrily defensive, and it wouldn't stop until the lion was killed. So say then in this situation the lion wasn't killed, like they went to court and the decision was no, the lion should be left alive. That wouldn't be where the story ended. Someone would then try and kill the lion. Like, someone would take it into their own hands and try and kill this lion, and then say that person was killed in the attempt to kill this other lion. So it's like out of their minds. They wouldn't just then be like, oh no, that lion can live, it's killed 2 people, even though those people shouldn't have been there. And that second person was trying to kill the lion, and it would have done it just out of its own nature and from like self-defense. It wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, that lion can be left alive. That lion would be killed or put down or whatever, because it was too much of a threat. And like, humanity just, it's like some kind of virus trying to get rid of all traces of something. Like, humanity, they progressively try and make it that, so like no sides are left apart from the human part of the equation. And humanity seems to have to do that so that they can just get out of their mind, so that they don't have to think about it again and can move on. And in terms of society, for all of the things and all of the medicines and stuff, and for all of humanity's fears about like forgetting things and dementia and stuff, it certainly does try and forget a lot of the things that it does. So what I'm getting at is like the flaws of humanity, in terms of it's gotten to the point where like nothing's right apart from humans. And to conclude my point on this, it's like, I feel like the zoo made the best decision that it could to kill Harambe. And I say like kill like that because whether they actually killed the gorilla or whether they like just made it disappear, I used that wrong then. Whether they just made him disappear, they did the right move on terms of how society would react to it, because they just need to get out of people's minds. And yeah, as well, it wasn't like a child that's like less than a year old, it was like a 3-year-old, so it was like a toddler. And people were mocking the mum in terms of, she was like, oh, I'm here honey, I'm here baby. Like, yeah, in hindsight you could be like, well, you should have just gone into the enclosure. But if it's your child, you feel like your instinct would be like, I'm getting over there. But like, say you think you'd be more help on the outside, because if you just go into the enclosure, like the child got in there, surely an adult could get in there, unless it was like through a small gap. Say you went down there and you weren't able to do anything and you ended up dying or injuring yourself, like, what is that going to solve in terms of getting the gun tranquilizing, as opposed to someone else actually doing something and like, actually getting in there trying to get the baby off them, apart from the fact that like you actually looked like you were doing something. But yeah, the mum was being mocked because she was just being like, oh, I'm here baby, I'm here. But you know what, think about the situation the child was in. It was scared, it was being dragged by this gorilla. If the mum couldn't feel the confidence to actually go down there, at least she wasn't just staying silent and doing nothing. She was trying to like keep their child calm. You know, like when someone's on their deathbed or someone's dying in a film, they've been shot, like their love interest is like, yeah, I'm here, I'm here. They're not just like silent and being like, okay, bye. But it's like to help comfort someone in a tense situation. At least she was doing something to kind of keep the child calm and comfort the child. But it all brings the point of like the bystander effect as well, of like how many people were watching this happen and not one of them had the balls to go into the enclosure and get this child. Like, if you're that worried about it, surely you would do something. It would be interesting for this child in the future. This won't just disappear for this child. When this child is like 20 or something, there'll be like an interview with the child. If it survives that long, I don't know how badly it was injured, and the person will probably be like, oh yeah, I thank the person who did kill the gorilla for allowing me the chance to live. But even they would be like, well, it's a difficult situation, because even if it happened now, like, what would you do really? The situation would be the same, and you can't just be like, well, zoos should have tranquilizers more readily available. Like, they're not just gonna have them everywhere. How big was that zoo, and how big are zoos in terms of stuff that's there to neutralize the animal? They shouldn't just have guns in one place and not tranquilizers. But was this in America? They have guns there anyway. Was this like an officially licensed zoo gun, or was it just like someone's gun? So yeah, I feel like there aren't just gonna be tranquilizers across like a whole zoo. It would take time for these tranquilizers and guns to actually get to the location. You can't just expect like them to get there in the click of a finger. That isn't the right phrase. Why do I not know any phrases? Maybe you go like that and say in the blink of an eye.